And this video is going to talk to you about the different types of fossils that I have in the table on page 8. So let's get started. First type of fossil that we're going to talk about is an impression fossil. So this is not actually the organism. It is not the organism. It's actually just the shape that that organism leaves behind when it dies. So say, for example, a plant leaf, or these guys over here, this is called a trilobite, might die in some soft sand or some mud. And as a result, they just sit there, they die, they're not getting disturbed. Yeah, remember that's one of our conditions, that they're not getting disturbed. And then over time, they decay or they rot away. And what you get left behind is this indentation or this impression. And that impression becomes rock. And that's the fossil. So you can find these are things like feathers. These are things like leaves. These are things like these small shellfish. Yeah, all of those things can be impression fossils. The next type of fossil, these are what I think you would classify as your classic fossils. These are mineralized fossils. This is where minerals in the surrounding rock, so rocks exist and rocks are full of minerals. That's what gives them part of their different color, and you can see all the different colors in this picture on the left here. So these fossils are created when minerals leach into the organism. So it could be the shell, it could be the bones, and they end up replacing all of the soft, and I know it's weird to say that, but soft bone tissue, and turning them into mineralized rocks. So when they discover these fossils, these bones and these shells, they're no longer made of bone, they're actually made of rock, because the rocks have leached in there, or the minerals have leached in there and turned the bones into rocks. So that's pretty cool. The next type of fossil that we're going to go through is a trace fossil. So on the left here, this is Miss Wood's foot. Funnily enough, Miss Wad, I almost call myself. There we go. It's Miss Wood's foot. This is in the USA. I was traveling throughout the whole USA, and we just saw this random sign on the side of the road, and it just said, turn down here to see some dinosaurs. And I went, let's turn down there. Literally drove down a dirt road for about 15 minutes, no one around, got to what looked like just a shed in the middle of, or not even a shed, just like a pergola in the middle of nowhere. And then we could walk down right on this. If you can see this here, this is actually, I don't know if the green's the best color for that. Here we go, try the orange over the top. There we go. We could walk on top of dinosaur footprints. Pretty damn cool. Again, over here on the right, you can see these are preserved footprints. So what we call these are not the animals. So they're not an impression fossil, because it's not the animal or the organism. So it's not the leaf, it's not the whole trilobite. What it is it's preserved evidence of the animal's activity level. So it could be footprints, it could be a tail dragging in the back. If it was a tailed dinosaur, for example, it might have left some sweeping impressions there. Essentially, undisturbed over time, they turn into rock, and then they get uncovered, like these ones here. So trace fossils, not the organism. Oh, sorry, that was really zoomed in. So this is not the organism itself. Now, the last type of fossil that we're going to talk about, these ones are the scary looking ones. These ones are the mummified fossils. So normally we say the decay happens and it's just the hard parts left behind. But what we get here is we get, say this guy fell into the permafrost. So he got frozen, completely stiff. Maybe he fell into a cavity, got buried straight away by ice, and as a result, none of his skin, nothing could decay him. There was no bacteria living there, and so therefore you get a fully preserved woolly mammoth. You can see that the Egyptians were quite good at doing this to their own cats and humans. They would put substances in with the dead creatures so that they couldn't decay. And if you can't decay, then your skin and your flesh is going to stay around, even if it doesn't look completely right. This guy here is the peat bog man, and again, I'm just going to pause and find out the date for you, because when you're on recording, you need to know the dates. Okay, this is a lesson in why you must always reference your sources. I can't find this exact guy, but I did find an interesting article that highlighted the fact that we found heaps and heaps of these, what we call bog bodies now. So these are people that have maybe perhaps fallen into this substance called peat, and that peat bog completely prevents them from decaying, and you might find them accidentally in a number of years. So we found them, and we've dated them. Some of them are dated back to 8000 BC, and some of them are dated back to the Second World War. So it depends on the individual fossil as to how old it is, but we have definitely found the mummified remains of humans that are about 10,000 years old. And so that finishes up my little video on the different types of fossils.